Last night we had a cookout in our cabin. Our counselor, Bill Murray, is teaching us self-defense. He's the greatest.
Meatballs, rated PG. This year, come back to nature and watch Bill Murray demolish summer. If you liked him on Saturday nights, you'll love him when he goes to camp.
The best darn camp there is.
Bill Murray, Meatballs, rated PG.
At summer camp, we're surrounded by nature and taught self-defense by Bill Murray. He's the greatest counselor a guy could have.
Do it! This is the proudest moment in North Star history!
I gotta get it!
Bill Murray, Meatballs, rated PG. It's summer.
Where's my mommy?
Do you know where your children are? If they're at this camp with head counselor Bill Murray,
I'm the program director, Jerry Aldini.
you can bet they're doing things you never dreamed of. Probably worse.
What's going on here?
Meatballs, rated PG. Live from Saturday night, it's Bill Murray
Is that a bra you're wearing, or are you expecting an assassination attempt?
in Meatballs.
Your time is skull crusher!
It's the kids against the counselors, and the counselors haven't got a chance.
Do it! This is the proudest moment in North Star history!
Bill Murray, Meatballs, rated PG.
Black belt against black magic in the greatest battle of all time. As the seven brothers and their sister meet Dracula. Die, Dracula, die! See the 10,000-year-old monster disintegrate before your eyes. Black belt against black magic in the greatest battle of all time. The Seven Brothers meet Dracula, rated R.
She is no longer one of us. Her soul dwells in darkness, and her body belongs to the Tempter.
Destroy the beast that invaded this woman.
Deliver her from evil. Deliver her from evil. Deliver her from evil. The Tempter, rated R. He is the essence of the unholy. His names are the symbols of fear. Thief of life. Enemy of the faith. Foe to the human race. The Tempter. Satan, why do you stand and resist? She is his. Deliver her from evil. The Tempter. Rated R.
Dracula is back. See Love at First Bite, the funniest, funkiest love story ever told.
I love you, and I can give you eternal life.
I knew it, an insurance salesman. I've already got Prudential.
Did you ever see a dynamite hickey like that before?
I won't let him get her.
The second way to kill a vampire, Count. 3 silver bullets through the heart.
No, Rosenberg. That is a fair wolf. Finally, after 712 years, to have someone bite me again.
Dracula is back, and America has a comedy it can get its teeth into. Love at First Bite, rated PG. He's here at last.
Good evening.
Count Dracula comes to New York in a story of blazing caskets,
Smoking.
burning passion.
I heard a rooster crow.
It's explosive,
When you come back tonight, it's okay to use the front door.
sensational.
Oh my, are you biting me?
Love at First Bite, rated PG. New York City, home of 8 million people and one vampire, Dracula.
Is blood in your eye?
He can disappear. He can fly. He can turn into a bat. But best of all, he can dance. The movie for everyone who thinks love can be a real pain in the neck.
Oh my, are you biting me?
Love at First Bite, rated PG.
Her father said she was a trend. Her customers said she was fantastic. She could give and take.
The vault, mister.
Guns, sin, and bathtub gin. Fast women, hard men, bootleg crews, and time to kill. Robert Conrad. Academy Award winner Louise Fletcher. Pamela Sue Martin. Guns, sin, and bathtub gin. Rated R.
The Passage, a bone-chilling manhunt that jolts every nerve. The Passage, a merciless duel to the death. Between two men, destiny will bring face to face. And only one will survive. The Passage. The Passage, rated R. In The Passage, a relentless fanatic closes in.
I'm looking for a man.
And it looks like an easy kill.
This man. I think you better come with me, monsieur.
Until a legendary guerrilla fighter takes on the assignment he never wanted.
I agreed to take one man over the mountains. But now it's 4.
But we are family.
An incredible adventure of escape. The Passage, rated R. Behind them, the executioner. In front of them, the mountain. And the only way out is up. Into the Passage. An ice-bound hell 2 miles high and 60 below. Anthony Quinn, James Mason, Malcolm McDowell. In the Passage. Rated R.
Whatever it is, it's alive and deadly. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. See it while it's still on the loose before they get it in a straitjacket. It's alive. Rated PG. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. From Warner Brothers, rated PG.
What you're seeing isn't really happening. Richard Benjamin and James Brolin aren't cowboys. They're vacationers in a fantastic resort called Westworld. Yul Brynner isn't a gunslinger. He's a robot. Westworld, where you can act out your every fantasy.
Hold it.
And where nothing can possibly go wrong.
Let me do it this time.
Go wrong. Go wrong.
I'm shot.
Go wrong.
Draw.
Westworld, rated PG. MGM presents Westworld. You've never seen anything like it. Rated PG.
Yes, here comes the new adventures of Pippi Longstocking. Pippi in the South Seas.
We're coming to a volcano straight ahead.
of the exciting adventures of Pippi in the South Seas. Rated G.
It's Tatum O'Neal in her first motion picture since Paper Moon. She's a little older.
I'm almost 12 and I'll be getting a bra soon.
And ready to play the game by her rules.
If I win, you play baseball for the Bears.
And if I win?
Name it.
Academy Award winner Walter Matthau. Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal. The Bad News Bears, rated PG. Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal is the secret weapon of the Bad News Bears, the most improbable team that ever played ball. And when Tatum plays baseball, she really plays baseball. Walter Matthau, Tatum O'Neal, together they make it happen. The Bad News Bears. Rated PG. Walter Matthau taught the Bad News Bears everything he knew about baseball. To win, the Bears really need a miracle. Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal is their miracle. Academy Award winner Walter Matthau is their coach. Together, they make it happen. The Bad News Bears. Rated PG.
Prepare yourself for a perfectly outrageous motion picture.
I'm going to blow my brains out right on this program a week from today.
The response is sensational. Herb, tell him.
I am not putting Howard back on the air.
It's not your show anymore, Max. It's mine.
Network, rated R. Television will never be the same. Prepare yourself for a perfectly outrageous motion picture.
Television is not the truth. None of it is true. So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of it.
Network, rated R. Television will never be the same. Prepare yourself for a perfectly outrageous motion picture.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. The response is sensational. Herb, tell him.
I am not putting Howard back on the air.
It's not your show anymore, Max. It's mine.
Network, rated R. Television will never be the same.
For a way of life you've heard about but never believed was real. Come for a dream called California. He became a part of it, and so will you. California Dreaming, rated R.
The police are baffled, desperate, confused. They need help. From Pete Novick, Private Eye. They're all after the Roadrunner, a car thief who's already stolen over a dozen cars and turned the streets into a demolition derby. Who is the Roadrunner, and can they catch him in a speed trap? Speed Trap, starring Joe Don Baker and Time Daly. Speed Trap, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Someone is stealing the most expensive cars in town. Someone who can open any car door, start any engine with just the flick of a switch on a little black box. Someone who can drive like crazy. The police call him the Roadrunner. Who is the Roadrunner? And can Pete Novick stop him before he strikes again? Speed Trap, starring Joe Don Baker and Time Daly. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
Runners to your mark!
It's the most important race of his life. And of ours, too. The race that starts in childhood.
The race that's won when we suddenly grow up. It happened to David and Jerry and Paul. A season of fun and games. Then life's real race began.
I want to win once. I want to know what it feels like.
Come on! Come on, turn it on! Go! Pick it up! Reach! That's it!
We go through a season of change, don't we, like leaves in autumn. A season of heartache, and happiness, and love. Then, we've won. Our winning season. It'll last us all our lives. Rated PG.
Meet the boys' basketball team of Granger High. They didn't know the difference between a jump shot and a layup until they met a winner.
Well, boys, I see you met the coach. He hasn't come out yet. Well, yes, he has. Except he's a she. A woman coach? They'll laugh us out of the league.
Crown International Pictures presents Coach.
We practice at night, Miss Rawlings. Late at night.
Everyone will take a cold shower before practice if they can't control their irresistible urges.
Randy Rawlings is completely into her work, and she's not going to stop until she turns a bunch of losers into a team of champions.
Coach.
The coach introduces her team to the sweet taste of victory. Coach, rated PG.
Suppose you knew who you had been in a previous life, where you had lived, whom you had loved, how you had died.
No, Marcia! Oh!
The reincarnation of Peter Proud. The best-selling novel is now an electrifying motion picture. The reincarnation of Peter Proud. Rated R.
Get ready for the wildest cross-country trailer truck chase in the history of the American highway, The Great Smoky Roadblock, starring Henry Fonda, Eileen Brennan, John Beinert, Dub Taylor, and Dana House as Celeste Lay. The Great Smoky Roadblock. Rated PG.
A season of fun and games. But soon the games are over, and the race of life begins.
I want to win once. I want to know what it feels like.
Come on! Come on, turn it on! Go! Pick it up! Reach! That's it.
Our winning season. A magnificent new motion picture about all of us. Rated PG.
Five deaths, 5 unexplained horrible accidents. We are all in great danger.
You can't make it believe it.
You've got to believe it. He killed Mark. He killed Atherton and Passerian. And he'll keep on killing. He'll kill anyone he thinks is threatening him. William Holden.
Where's Damien?
Lee Grant. Damien. Omen 2. Rated R. The first time was only a warning.
Those lovable mischief makers are back in a theater again, following Fred McMurray through laughter and heartbreak.
We both love you, Whitey.
In Walt Disney's captivating Follow Me Boys. And on the same program, the electrifyingly funny Disney featurette Ben and Me. See Follow Me Boys and Ben and Me, both rated G.
The Magic of Lassie. The biggest, brightest, happiest new movie adventure of the year. Share the fun with everyone in your family. See The Magic of Lassie. Rated G.
He is the essence of the unholy. His names are the symbols of fear. Thief of life. Enemy of the faith. foe to the human race. The tempter, Satan, why do you stand and resist? She is his. Deliver her from evil. The tempter, rated R.
The Sacred Knives of Vengeance. The masterpiece of martial arts, Kung Fu Karate. The Sacred Knives of Vengeance. From Warner Brothers, rated R.
The teacher, voted most popular by her male students.
She likes you. Come on, man, give me a look.
Angel Tompkins is the teacher.
Kiss me. Here.
Her best lessons were taught after class.
Have you ever made love before?
No.
Take off your shirt.
Sure.
I want to touch you.
The teacher.
One more step and I'll shoot.
Oh, come on in a minute. I'm not going to rape you.
The teacher, a Crown International picture, rated R.
The Three Musketeers. Oliver Reed, Raquel Welch, Richard Chamberlain, Michael York, Frank Finlay, Geraldine Chaplin, Jean-Pierre Cassel, Faye Dunaway, and Charlton Heston. One for all and all for fun. The Three Musketeers, rated PG.
This is the greatest fighter that ever walked.
Meet Matilda.
I got a kangaroo. A boxing kangaroo.
He's America's first kangaroo hero in the knockout comedy of the year.
A kangaroo!
I love that actor.
And you'll love Matilda. He even has Debbie and Pat Boone singing out. Matilda, what a knockout. Rated G.
You know, it takes a special kind of guy to push them big old 18-wheelers down the highway. Hi, this is Jerry Reed. We just finished shooting a motion picture about some of these good old boys. And before we got through with the ride, well, he thought he'd get himself killed. Now, Peter Fonda's my buddy. We call him Rain. He's a lad with wheels in his head and a liking for fancy boots. Me and you used to have a good time. You go take one more ride with the old dude. Breaker 19, Breaker 19. I'm being shot at with real bullets. You understand that? Woo! Give him one for the old dude. Give him one for the old dude. See this story of two throttle jockeys who get into it up to their eyeballs and highballing. Rated PG.
Get ready to take a fun-filled journey into excitement with Alice in a New Wonderland. Travel along with Alice and her lovable new friends, Anatole the Mouse, and discover the secret of the magic cheese. Meet Madeline, the famous storybook girl, and the frowning prince.
Nobody can make me smile.
Will he ever smile? Carnival adventures, magicians, wild animals. Alice in a New Wonderland. It's wonderful. Plus, White Mane, the amazing story of a proud, fiery stallion. Coming soon to a theater near you. Rated G.
The terror of the past is but a taste of the future.
What happened before was a hint of the havoc to come. The first time was only a warning. William Holden, Lee Grant, Damien, Omen 2, rated R.
Death Race 2000. You finished first or not at all?
Who are you, anyway?
The best driver on Earth. Death Race 2000. The traffic is murder. Hold on. He was built by the world's greatest surgeons to drive the fastest car ever designed, and nothing can stop him now. David Carradine, Death Race 2000. Rated R.
Move over, Scrooge. Here comes Mr. Quilt.
How'd you do? I'm very pleased to meet you. I'm that fascinating creature called Quilt.
Anthony Newley stops the world once again with songs and laughter as Charles Dickens' most unforgettable character, Mr. Quilt.
King, more money? What the devil has he done with it all? That's the mystery.
Mr. Quilt. It's something to sing about.
I've forgotten how she looked, except she reminded me of spring.
There are more songs and marvelous entertainment than you've enjoyed in years in Mr. Quilt.
Life can be a recipe for happiness pie.
Rated G. Mr. Quilp is something to shout about.
Stupenda Quilp. The louse as artful as a jaybird.
Because Anthony Newley stops the world once again with songs and laughter as Charles Dickens' most unforgettable character, Mr. Quilt.
I'm that fascinating creature called Quilt.
Rated G. Mr. Quilt. It's something to sing about.
I'm that fascinating creature called Quilt.
In the great tradition of Oliver, here is another Dickens classic set to music.
Life can be a recipe for happiness pie.
Mr. Quilt, the family picture of the year. Rated G.
A boxer, a fighter, a kangaroo!
Meet Matilda, America's first kangaroo hero. And look who's in his corner. Elliot Gould, Roy Clark, Harry Gardino, Clive Robel, Karen Carlson, and Robert Mitchum as partners. You'll love Matilda. He even has Debbie and Pat Boone singing out. Matilda, what a knockout. Rated G.
Here comes the new adventures of Pippi Longstocking. Pippi in the South Seas. Pippi is the strongest girl in the world.
I am Pippi Longstocking. If you say it fast, it's funny. Pippi, Pippi Longstocking, how I love my funny name.
Be sure to see Pippi in the South Seas. Rated G.
Dirty Dozen with the Magnificent Seven, and you have the Chinese Professionals. Kung Fu Beast. Siamese Devils. Tibetan Tiger Man. The Invincible Yuga Khan. The One-Armed Boxer. A total of 9 masters of the martial arts to tear the screen apart. The Chinese Professionals. Rated R.
When cruelty knows no bounds, when evil knows no limits, revenge strikes with its most frightening power. They called her One-Eye, then ran for their lives. It's only a movie, yet it will push you to the limits of your own ability to endure evil. They called her One-Eye, rated R. They called her One-Eye, then ran for their lives. Rated R.
The town thinks he's ordinary. His parents think he's wasting his time.
Admit, buddy, we've been mighty patient.
His friends think he's crazy.
What am I gonna do with you?
But Buddy's got something a lot of people want. It's called Genius.
When you say goodbye,
Say anything like it.
Come on up for real and not fade away. And my love's bigger than the Cadillac.
The Buddy Holly story.
Well, I tried to show you and you tried to leave me back.
You'll be laughing, crying, singing, and stomping your feet. From Columbia Pictures, rated PG.
Religious leaders say he's corrupting the youth of America. Psychologists feel he's creating mass hysteria. Police say he incites rioting. They think he's crazy, even dangerous. His name is Buddy Holly, and this is his story, rated PG.
He doesn't know where it came from. He doesn't know how long it'll last.
I gotta play in front of the people.
All he knows is how to use it. It's called Genius. The life, the legend, the music of Buddy Holly. The Buddy Holly story from Columbia Pictures, rated PG.
Jason, a man who challenged the gods. Medea, the temple dancer who betrayed a kingdom for love. The Argonauts, a mighty band of warriors in search of a fabulous magic golden fleece. Jason and the Argonauts fought in the clutches of the bronze giant Talos, facing the dreaded seven-headed Hydra, battling the merciless army of skeletons. Jason and the Argonauts, from the makers of Sinbad in spectacular Dinorama, rated G.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Skip Alzheimer. I collect old films, 16mm films, and I show them to folks like you, and have been doing this via the internet for, I can't remember, 13 weeks? Yeah, I think that's right. So what we just saw, Jason and the Argonauts, that was an awesome film. Ray Harryhausen produced it, or helped produce it, and he's the master of stop motion animation, and that's the film that has that amazing skeleton fighting scene with Jason. Really, really phenomenal film. And so what we saw previously was TV trailers. And so what these were trailers that were for films that were coming out or that were out in theaters, and they'd be sent to TV stations, and local theaters would pay, or local distributors would pay for the advertising, and they actually came on these little reels. So to get them together onto big compilation reels, I had to like go in and clip out all the countdowns and get them off the reels and put them onto big reels. And so these would be shown. They're short, and you can tell like there's multiple versions of a given trailer. And somebody pointed out like there's the Bad News Bears one that has romance, and then there's the one with the Academy Award winners, and then there's ones that are just screwball comedy. And likewise, you see that there was different takes on it. Like, how do we sell this film to the public? Well, we sell it like, well, for example, Love at First Bite, the one with George Hamilton as a vampire. The first thing they said was blazing caskets. So it's trying to sell to people that liked Blazing Saddles. It's trying to say like, this, you like Mel Brooks. This is kind of like Mel Brooks. It's funny. So it's fascinating to kind of see these films, and they're short. They're not like the trailers you would see in a theater, which were 3 minutes long or 5 minutes long, or however long they were. And these were edited for television, so the themes that are being relayed, it's kind of fascinating to see. And also, it definitely talks about what films were being made to cater to what audiences. And there's the trucking CB radio films that were, Smoking the Bandit variations, Highballin' for one. Then ones that were like coasting off of Bonnie and Clyde and the gangster movies and all that stuff. So really kind of fascinating. All right, so now back to our regular programming. As I said, I collect 16mm educational films. And so this next film is Made for Managers. It's part of our series, the Calvin Management Series, where they propose a problem and don't really offer a solution, and we're left trying to figure out how to fix the problem. This is The Trouble with Women.
No, Betty, that's wrong. Let me show you again. You use this control to get your focus, you see? All right, and this one here in the right-hand corner to lock the sweep. There we are. Now let's try it again.
Oh, there's someone here to see you. Are you Mr. Bradshaw, the foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Donnelly up in personnel said for me to give you this card. I'm your new bearings inspector.
Oh? Oh, well, now, I'll be with you in just a minute. No, one at a time. Well, I'll be back later to go over this with you, Betty. Just in the meantime, do the best you can. Would you follow me, please?
Sure.
Just have a seat here. I'll be back shortly.
Well, Mr. Bradshaw, what's on your mind?
Bearings inspector.
She's a good one, too. Just look at that record.
Okay, now, Walt, you've had your little joke. Give her to somebody else. I ask for a man.
We don't have a man with her qualifications. Seriously, Brad, if you treat her right, she might make you a darn good employee.
What do you mean, treat her right?
Get that chip off your shoulder. What's wrong with her?
She's a woman, isn't she?
Now, wait a minute. You got a lot of women in your department. What's wrong with one more?
Did you ever hear of the straw that broke the camel's back?
They're good workers. Accurate, quick to catch mistakes, a lot of patience.
Yeah, but that comes out of books. I work with them, mister. I know what happens.
What does happen?
Well, it's a long story.
Come on now, tell me. What does happen? Maybe I've been misinformed.
Not so long ago, you sent me a girl by the name of Myrtle Malloy. Remember?
I remember.
As per her qualifications, I assigned her to an inspection bench. Well, in a matter of days, that bench looked more like her dressing table. And then came the day when... Joe, will you take your stuff back to table 9? That'll be your bench for the time being.
Okay, Chief.
Myrtle, we're moving you to table number 10.
Is something wrong, Mr. Bradshaw?
No, nothing's wrong. We just need this space for something else.
Well, I sure hate to give it up. It's been a nice place to work. The light's good here, and it's nicely situated right in the middle of things. I just began to feel at home.
Well, I'm sorry, Myrtle, but table 10 will have to be your work area for the time being.
You mean there's liable to be another change?
There's always that possibility.
Well, I certainly hope I'm not moved every other day.
With man, no trouble at all. Tell him what you want and he does it. But with Myrtle, a little move is a big production.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. You asked me, now let me tell you. Now, here's another problem.
Oh, Mr. Bradshaw, I wanted to tell you that the date is set for my marriage. I'll be leaving soon.
Marriage? Mm-hmm. I thought you just got engaged.
Well, I told you about it 6 months ago. We were only waiting till we could find a place to live.
6 months ago? Oh, brother. Well, how soon are you leaving?
Well, the end of next week.
Well, that'll really put us in a bind around here. It takes time to break in a relief girl.
Yes, I know it does. I wondered.
Why didn't you say something? I didn't realize you were getting married right away.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Bradshaw, but I really thought you knew. We've all been talking about it.
Okay, Brad, but how many blushing brides do you have? Besides, what's all this got to do with Dolly, the new girl? She's already married. And she's a qualified bearings inspector.
You know what I was doing when this new girl came in a few minutes ago?
No.
I was trying to cope with one of the biggest problems of all, Walt. Now, in your books, it comes under the general heading of absenteeism among women employees. Yesterday, I spent an hour and a half teaching one of our girls what she needed to know in order to start on the oscilloscope today. This morning, she isn't here, so I had to use somebody else. I don't think the girl we got on it now ever pick it up, so I'll probably have to find somebody else.
Question. All these things you've been talking about, marriage, absenteeism, personality problems, aren't they really just a part of life?
Part of a woman's life, maybe. But I can remember the good old days when there were all men in my department, and we didn't have these problems.
You didn't have the production output you've got now either. Look, Brad, you've got a new bearings inspector who happens to be a woman. You need someone, and there isn't a man available. It seems to me that whether the gal adds up to trouble or not is pretty much up to you.
What's he gonna do? Poor guy. So, yeah, he shows up in a lot of films. And it's interesting, a lot of these films that I have in this series actually deal with gender issues. Like The Grapevine is often the male manager versus the girls in the secretarial pool and their constant gossiping, et cetera, et cetera. This next film deals with a superhero, kind of. This is part of the Pennsylvania school bus safety films, of which Ghost Rider was one, and Bust Nut was another. This is Rescue Man.
It's that crossbeam up there. Good grief, it's going to...
A dozen miners trapped deep underground. Their only hope, Rescue Man.
one night.
Oh, Mom, it's my favorite show. Rescue Man has to save these guys who are trapped in a mine shaft.
We'll record it, and you can watch the rest another time.
Please, Mom, it's almost over.
It's not almost over. It just started. Now be a good kid and take that bowl on the kitchen counter over to Mrs. Bishop, and then straight back here, young man, and get ready for bed.
Bed? It isn't even dark yet.
Well, maybe not, but I want you to get lots of sleep so you won't be tired on your field trip tomorrow. That's Coot.
Hi, Mr. Bishop.
Hiya, Scotty.
Taking your bus out?
Nope, just getting her ship shape for tomorrow. Have to take a group to the airport on a field trip.
Hey, that's my class.
Is it now? Well, well. When I was your age, the only trips I took were to the principal's office.
Lift off.
What?
We're trapped in orbit, Houston. You better send Rescue Man. 10-4.
Hey, Rescue Man. Do you have something for me?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Mrs. Bishop.
By the way, your mother just called. She said for you to come right home and get your things ready for tomorrow.
Camera?
Check.
Lunch money?
Check.
Shirt, pants, socks, shoes?
Check, 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 check.
Underoos?
Underoos? What are underoos? Wow!
Not so fast, Buster. First, you have to promise to behave yourself on your field trip.
Oh, Mom, you know I will.
And second, you have to promise to turn in right now. I know you. If you haven't had a good night's sleep, you won't enjoy the airport.
It's not very likely that an aircraft engine would catch fire during takeoff or landing. But if this did happen, the fire department downtown is too far away to be of any help. This is the reason the airport has its own fire department and its own rescue unit. Okay. If a plane were on fire, the first thing the rescue squad would do would be to climb into their special heat-resistant suits. Then they would race to the fire in this mini pumper and spray it with a chemical foam. While that's happening, the airplane's crew would be helping the passengers get out.
That's scary. It makes me not want to ride an airplane.
Well, it really shouldn't scare you. The chances of anything going wrong are very small, but we have to be prepared just in case. Even the passengers have to be prepared. That's why, at the beginning of every flight, a flight attendant explains things like where the emergency exits are, and, if it's an overseas flight, where the route
Last stop, Scotty. Trip's over. We're home now. Hey, what's so fascinating back there?
The emergency door.
Really?
Yeah. The lady at the airport told us about getting out of airplanes in an emergency. That got me wondering about how you get out of this bus in an emergency.
We practiced last fall, remember?
No. I never rode the bus till last winter when my family moved out here.
That's right. Well, we're due for another drill next month, but if you're really interested, stop over this weekend and I'll show you how it's done.
Hi, Mr. Bishop.
Hi, Scott. Have a seat. You all set to learn about bus evacuation?
Yep.
Well, the first thing you have to learn is that different kinds of emergencies mean different kinds of evacuations.
For example?
For example, say the engine was burning. Now, in that case, it wouldn't make sense to use this door because that would mean bringing kids right up close to the fire. In that case, we would use the rear emergency exit. Come on back. I'll show you. Now, you have to remember to duck your head so that you don't hit the door frame, and you have to remember to flex your knees when you jump. It'll cushion your landing. Okay? I'll try it once.
Wow, that's fun.
It's no fun if you don't do it right and you sprain your ankle. And it's no fun for the kids who can't get out right away because you're lying there in their way.
Ever use both the front and the back exit?
Sure. If the bus were stuck at a railroad crossing, I'd want everybody out fast. Using both exits would cut our evacuation time in half. Come on back in, I want to show you something. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. This is an exit, huh? Not an entrance. Come on around front. Now this is important. When both doors are being used, the kids in the back half use the emergency door and the kids in the front half use the front door.
Makes sense.
Sure it does. The trouble is people don't always act sensibly in an emergency. Well, what if you, who are in the front half, decide to go out the back door, and I, who am in the back half, decide to break the rules too and go out the front?
Trouble?
Big trouble. See what happens when we try. On 3. 1, 2, 3. See what I mean?
Yeah, neither one of us goes anywhere.
Right.
Mr. Bishop, what if both doors get jammed shut in a wreck?
Good point. What would you do?
The windows?
Right. Now, the ones to try first are the big ones, at the back and up front. Now, each of the 2 sections of the windshield is designed to pop out in one piece if it's hit hard enough. The ones in the back are different. They'll shatter if they're hit.
What are you supposed to hit the windows with?
Good question. In the front of every bus is either a fire axe or a wrecking bar. Now that's what to use to hit the window, and that's what to use to clear any remaining pieces away from the frame.
Anything else I should know?
One other thing, and a lot of kids forget this. Once you're out of the bus, it's important to get away from it. You should move to a safe place, at least 50 giant steps away, and stay there.
Wow. That's sure a lot to remember.
That's why we practice at least twice every school year, to help kids remember. But it bothers me that some students don't take those drills seriously. They don't realize that someday their lives could depend on them.
Their only hope, rescue man.
Say the engine was burning. It wouldn't make sense to use this door because that would mean bringing kids right up close to the fire. In that case, we would use the rear emergency exit.
Rescue man.
We'll use this door. Let's go.
Now, you have to remember to duck your head so that you don't hit the door frame. You have to
Remember
remember
to flex your knees when you jump. The
or
cushions
cushion
are landing. Then once you're out of the bus, move to a safe place at least 50 giant steps away. And stay there. Smoke's getting pretty bad. You better help Mr. Bishop.
Where am I? What happened?
You're gonna be okay, Mr. Bishop.
Can you see them? No. Wait, there they are. What's he doing?
Mr. Bishop!
Morning, Scotty.
Mr. Bishop! I had this dream last night. There was a bus wreck, and I was rescue man. And I remembered everything you told me, and everybody got off safely.
You were the hero, were you?
Yep.
Pretty neat, I'd say. But in a real emergency, there'd have to be a whole busload of heroes.
What do you mean?
I mean that students can't rely on one person to help them through an emergency. Everyone has to remember what they've been told during evacuation drills. Everyone has to be a hero.
Woo! I just had some leftover Indian food, and it just kind of keeps getting spicier and spicier every time I heat it up. Thanks, everybody, for the coffee. I don't know if you noticed I added a Buy Me a Coffee link. That's a great way to support AV Geeks by keeping me awake and caffeinated. Yes, it's a good thing. So thanks, everybody who has donated thus far. In fact, somebody just donated, and Rick, thank you. Thank you so much. I will drink that coffee. Yes. All right. This next film is about the wonders of electric heating in schools. It's a film that was made probably to be shown to school boards or PTAs in efforts to raise money to replace the old coal-fired steam heating that was in a lot of schools, and to, when they're building new buildings, there was a big push in the 60s to do that, in the late 50s, to go with electric heating and why it's so great. So here we go. Electric heating goes to school.
is Monroeville, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Pittsburgh. Population, 21,000. Family income, about average. Everywhere here, there's newness, generous use of land, and modern imagination. Yes, this is today's typical miracle. This is Monroeville. Its industry? Well, you might say raising children. A big job it is, too. This kind of industry calls for modern homes, up-to-date planning, modern churches, modern administration, and most of all, modern schools. Now there's a big responsibility for you, those schools. In Monroeville, as in most American communities, that responsibility rests with a select group. Businessmen, doctors, an engineer, a lawyer. They are the school board. Serving without pay, they guide the destinies of their community school system, help chart the future of Monroeville's 4,500 youngsters. And they have an arduous task, to use wisely the tax dollars entrusted to them, get the most from every cent spent, build and buy the finest facilities, so Monroeville's youngsters may be healthier, happier, and better educated. Not long ago, the board met to discuss the method of heating a new elementary school they were planning to build. Some members felt a truly modern school ought to be heated by electricity. They asked their architect. No one knew all the facts, so he did what a conscientious planner would do. He called in all the experts, his engineers, power company. First to speak was a representative of the Duquesne Light Company. They supply electrical power to the Monroeville area.
And so I brought with me some of the facts that I believe you're looking for. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them as we go along.
I have a question.
Yes?
Isn't it true that your electric power costs more than any of the other kinds of fuel we can use? How can you possibly justify heating the school electrically on those grounds alone?
A good question, but first let's see what's required to heat your schools with those other fuels. May we see that film, please? Here you see a drawing of a school building much like the one your architect has planned. Now, unless it's heated electrically, this building will need a big boiler room and a boiler or two. Of course, that's going to require some space, valuable space, and chances are some excavation. Trenching for pipe runs usually is desirable. Lots of pipe to carry hot water or steam to many radiators throughout the building. Let's not forget the condensate or circulation pumps and a massive chimney. Now, even though the building is not heated electrically, it still needs electric power. Power for the pumps, for boiler controls, for thermostatic room control. But if we change our minds and decide to heat the building electrically, we can eliminate boiler room, boiler, pumps, piping, this type of control, chimney, and just change the location and quantity of roof insulation and increase the size of our electric supply. Quite a difference.
Quite a difference. And he proceeded to show them in black and white the comparative construction cost resulting from the difference in two schools. One, an existing Monroeville school with gas-fired steam heating, and the other, their newly planned school, which the architect had designed similarly, except a little larger and equipped with better roof insulation and electric heating. Believe it or not, the electrically heated school would cost $41,500 less to build.
That's very convincing. But it is true, isn't it, that your electric power is the most expensive of any fuel?
Well, let's take a look at that point. Gas consumed to heat your school now costs you about $2,120 annually. We estimate the cost of electricity for heating your new school will run you around $5,210 a year.
So, where's the saving?
That's coming. Look here.
He pointed out that it cost $1,383 a year for 30 years to repay the bond money for additional construction required by gas heating. Average annual interest at 4.5% costs another $933, plus an annual reserve for boiler replacement, cost of pump operation, boiler insurance, higher building insurance, cost of boiler maintenance, repairs and supplies. Add all this to the annual cost of gas, and you have a grand total of $5,768 a year for gas heat, against an estimated $5,210 for electric heating, saving $558 a year by heating the school electrically.
You talk about boiler replacement, boiler insurance, boiler maintenance. Doesn't your electric system require maintenance too?
True, the wet heat equipment outside the boiler room takes only slightly more maintenance than its electric counterpart. But the electric equivalent of the boilers are the power transformers, and these are normally furnished and installed by the utility. The actual boiler is at the power generating station, and it is also maintained entirely by the utility and paid for in the electric bill. Now, as for future fuel costs, a look at this chart will show you the cost of fossil fuels has been steadily increasing, while the cost of electric power has remained about the same. What will tomorrow's costs be? Well, gentlemen, you can draw your own conclusions.
And draw them they did. In response to eager questions from board members concerning available equipment, their architect and engineer suggested that they would arrange a full explanation by equipment manufacturers. One leading manufacturer was on hand when the board convened a week later.
Our Chromalox unit ventilator. It assures optimum classroom comfort by providing individual room control automatically for ventilation, warming, and cooling. Does so quietly without drafts, and economically because of a demand sentinel, our unique control device which increases the unit's heating capacity as it feels outdoor air temperature dropping.
The manufacturer shows his simple, compact unit ventilator and goes on to explain how it fits specifically the varying demands of classroom occupancy and temperature variations. He shows how rooms on the sunny side of the building may need cooling, while rooms on the side exposed to shade and chilling winds require heat. He notes the need for warmth at the time the classes begin. He then shows how the body warmth of the students contributes heat to the room, causing the heat requirement of the unit ventilators to be lowered. He points out that only with built-in individual room control can quick modulation of heating and cooling be provided to ensure that each classroom is properly maintained at optimum comfort temperature.
This unit, with built-in temperature control, fulfills the most critical demands. It both warms the room, cools the room, and brings in fresh air from the outside, mixing and delivering the air in filtered and measured amounts throughout the room. Another chart, this one showing a typical classroom, indicates where the unit ventilator is mounted against an outside wall, where it can draw in fresh outdoor air as needed. An automatic damper controls indoor and outdoor airflow to provide proper room ventilation or cooling. The air mixture is then filtered, and electric elements add heat according to the actual need. This air is then directed almost straight up to the ceiling by the unit ventilator fans. This curtain of rising air, passing the window, blocks the external cold. It hits the ceiling, flows across it to the side walls, where it drifts down into the living area. And then it travels back across the floor at desk level, returning to the unit ventilator. Its temperature is sampled for comfort control and again is mixed with outside air, filtered and warmed if need be, and the cycle is continued. We have removed this panel to demonstrate that everything is built into this unit at the factory, including all automatic controls. Now this means easier, more economical installation and maintenance. This unit never needs to be oiled. It requires only a few minutes once a month to change the filter.
The board members' interest increases. Here are more savings, and they like the idea of built-in individual room control. They also like the idea that this electric heating doesn't call for an engineer, an expert to operate. And here's another individual control they like too. All power to these heaters is fed or cut off by a simple arrangement of centrally located time clocks. These permit the temperature to be reduced when the building is not in use. But suppose there's to be a special meeting in one room some evening. A responsible person merely presets the clock override on the unit in the room to be used, and at the appointed hour of use, that room will be comfortably warm. And after the meeting, will then be returned to overnight temperature automatically. The manufacturer also shows the board how these unit ventilators can be used in conjunction with other electric devices, such as baseboard radiation in offices, cabinet convectors for corridors, console-type heaters for entranceways, auditorium-type unit ventilators for gym, multipurpose rooms, and auditoriums, unit heaters for kitchens and food storage, even special Chromalox heating cable embedded in pavement to melt snow automatically.
You can heat the floor of your kindergarten this way, and economically too, so the tots can play right on the floor without feeling the slightest chill.
You know what it feels like to open presents Christmas morning? Well, that's about the way these people felt. These people whose job it is to spend their neighbors' tax dollars the best possible way. The Monroeville School Board made its decision. Electric heating for the new Northern Pike School. Working as a team, architect, engineer, manufacturer, and contractor. Plan and install the system. Have it ready and operating in time for the first scheduled day of classes. Then came the real test. The comfort of teachers and students, regardless of the weather, at an operating cost within the range of the estimate made to the school board. In order to prove it, careful records were kept of the weather, setting of automatic controls, and time of special activities beyond the normal school day. Then,
I have here the operating costs for heating Northern Pike School during the past full 12 months. Remember, the original estimate given to us for that period was $5,210. Well, even though the past winter was nearly 4% colder than normal, the bill actually amounted to only $5,290. This is almost on the nose with our original figures. I think they prove we made a wise choice.
thanks to electric heating at Northern Pike School, they have this. And they have this. With its clean, quiet electric heat, they have this. And as the population grows, an expansion of classroom facilities may be required, how easy it will be just to run electric lines into the new rooms and install compact packaged electric unit ventilators. How very economical and how very practical. Electric heating has proved itself practical today. Nothing else may be practical tomorrow. That's how they feel about it in modern Monroeville, Pennsylvania, where modern thinking includes planning for tomorrow. And that includes heating comfort for today's youngsters the all-electric way.
So in my mind, I thought it was just a generic, like, we just picked a name of the town, Monroeville, not realizing that, of course, it is Monroeville, Pennsylvania, where the mall was the home of Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero zombie film. Wow, fascinating. But yeah, wasn't that a fascinating sales pitch to go with electric? Something that lots of schools considered at some point, and I feel like I can't remember. Definitely, a lot of the schools I had radiators because when they would come on, you would hear this tick tongue sound, and I remember water dripping from them and all that stuff. This next film is made for kids, and it's to teach them how to take care of school buildings, and has a supernatural element to it, maybe. It's brought to us by our friends at Centron Films.
Say, what are you kids doing here? School's over. All the other kids have gone home.
Oh, it's okay, Mr. Dillon. Our teacher's here. She's just going down to the lounge for a little while.
She gets permission to fix up the room for the Halloween open house tonight.
Well, if you're sure it's all right with her.
We're sure, Mr. Dillon. See you at the open house.
Okay.
Are all the lights on?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just kind of dark at night, that's all.
You scared?
No! What was that?
I don't know. There it is again.
I don't like it.
Sounds like it's coming from up there somewhere.
Let's go, Susie. I really don't like this.
I think that noise is coming from the speaker up here.
Let's get out of here.
Maybe someone's in the office trying to scare us over the loudspeaker. Or maybe it's just Mr. Dillon playing a joke.
Well, it's not funny.
Mr. Dillon, is that you?
Oh, hi there, Susie. Bill, sorry if I startled you.
Mr. Dillon, that doesn't sound like you.
No, I'm not Mr. Dillon.
Who are you then?
Well, you may not believe this, but I'm your school building.
Aw, come on. Who are you really?
No kidding. I'm your school building.
School buildings can't talk. Come on, stop it now. You're scaring us.
I'm not scared.
Huh, not much.
How can I prove it? Or shall I dim my lights? Or ring my bells? Or twirl my hands?
Oh, hey, don't do that. That's spooky.
Oh, sorry, Susie. I didn't mean to scare you.
How'd you know our names?
Oh, I know all you children. I've known you two since you first came here in kindergarten.
How's come you were sniffling? You got a cold?
No, I'm not sick. Just a little sad.
Why?
Oh, because I've been abused.
What does that mean?
Oh, I've been mistreated, soiled and scratched and scarred and injured.
Who did that to you?
Why, you did, Susie. And you too, Bill. And your classmates.
Oh, no, not me. I never did anything to hurt you. Me either. I wouldn't do anything to abuse you on purpose.
Oh, I know you didn't do it on purpose, but...
Like what? What did we ever do to you?
Well, for instance, look under that poster you're making.
Ooh, I got it on the desk. Sorry. I'll try and clean it up and put something under my paper from now on. You should be more careful.
You think so, Bill? You just taped that poster on my chalkboard.
So?
Pull the tape off. Ooh, that tickles. Now look carefully at the chalkboard.
Oh, yeah, I see. There's gooey stuff here from where the tape had been.
That's a scar I may have for months or even years.
Oh, hey, there's crayon marks here. I never noticed these before.
Some thoughtless child did that to me without even thinking how it would make me feel or look.
Gee, we're sorry. Please don't cry. That's a shame. You know, when we're making posters, we ought to make one to tell the other kids not to do things to hurt our school.
That would be nice.
Don't let ink from felt markers get on desktops. That's it. Don't let ink from felt markers get on desktops. Don't put tape on chalkboards or walls. Don't make crayon marks on walls or chalkboards. That's great. Hey, Susie, come here a sec. Look, somebody scratched and carved all over this desk.
That really hurts. To me, it's just like cuts or bruises that won't ever heal. But I've got wounds all over me. Look at my door and my woodwork. Do you see those stab marks?
These little pinholes?
No, they may look little to you, but how would you like to have somebody stick thumbtacks in your arms or legs?
I see what you mean.
And it's so unnecessary. I've got perfectly good bulletin boards that can be used for pinning up things with tacks.
I'm getting this down on a list. Don't carve or scratch on desks. Don't put thumbtacks in doors or woodwork.
And somebody pulled my molding loose. And I even have holes in my plaster. Somebody accidentally banged into my wall with a chair. That cracked the plaster. And then some kids just picked at the crack with pencils and their fingernails until it made a hole.
Ew, I remember doing that. But I didn't mean to hurt you.
Oh, of course you didn't. But I was damaged just the same.
Bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me. It's the chalk dust getting to me again.
Chalk dust?
Yes. Look where somebody powdered my face with chalk from an eraser.
Gee, that was a mean thing to do.
It's even worse when they pound the erasers on my corkboard and get the dust in all those little cracks. That can't be cleaned up. Excuse me.
We never thought about that, Mr. School.
Oh, you can call me by my first name. Elementary. Or LM for short.
We want to help you. What can we do?
That poster that Bill's making is a big help. If you and your friends would just follow those rules, I'd really be happy.
Is there anything else we can put on here, LM?
Oh, lots of things. Just think about what happens during the day at school. If children would keep their hands off my walls, or when they line up or walk down the hall, it would help keep my paint bright and clean. I'm very proud of my paint, you know. And it would help if kids would put their hands on the switch plates instead of the walls when they turn on lights. It would keep my walls looking nice and save your custodian a lot of hard work. When you lean on a wall, it's important to stand on both feet. If you rest one foot against my wall, it gets me all dirty and scrapes off my paint. Oh, my floors really take a beating. On wet days, kids should wipe their feet so they don't track in mud and dirt. Wet umbrellas should be put in a wastebasket to drip so they don't cause puddles on the floor. Wearing shoes or boots with steel cleats on them can cause terrible damage to me. And I hope that no one will ever deliberately make rubber marks on my floors with their heels. Of course, crayons should be picked up before they get squashed, and spills should be wiped up right away. You could also remind everyone that if they chew gum on the way to school, as soon as they get here, they should get rid of it by wrapping it up and putting it in a wastebasket. Some of them actually drop it on my floors or stick it under my desks. Yuck. How would you like to be covered with somebody's wet, sticky old chewing gum? Oh, and sometimes my lockers get so full that I get indigestion. It's a real pain in my tummy when my lockers are stuffed with old lunches, wet umbrellas, and other junk like that. Some of my lockers have been hurt because kids have swung on the doors, jerked on the coat hooks, or taken out the screws from the hinges. That's rough treatment. I'd be much happier and healthier if you kids would just be more gentle with me. If you hit my panic bars too hard, or jerk on the doorknobs, it can break me or loosen my screws. And I shudder every time someone kicks a door open instead of opening it properly. My restrooms are awfully sensitive. My fixtures can crack if anyone climbs or swings on them. And my tiles break and scratch easily. And my drains get all stopped up if you kids drop paper towels in the basins instead of putting them in wastebaskets, as you should. Even when you're playing outside, you sometimes hurt me without realizing it. Children should play on the playground, not in my trees and shrubs. They're easily damaged. It's very important to be careful where you throw things. A rock or a ball, ooh, can break one of my windows. So it's best not to ever throw anything towards your school building.
Boy, have we got a list. Keep hands and feet off walls. Wipe your feet at the door on wet days. Don't wear metal cleats inside. Don't make heel marks on the floor. Pick up crayons and wipe up spills. Wrap gum and throw it in the wastebasket. Clean out lockers. Be gentle with doors. Don't climb on bathroom basins. Play on the playground, not in shrubs and trees. And don't stock up bathroom drains.
There are a lot of other things I could tell you about, too, but you're smart kids. I'll bet you can think of them on your own.
We'll sure try.
Oh, just one more suggestion. If you find some damage, even a little bit of damage, like a loose screw in your desk, tell your teacher about it right away so it can be fixed before it gets worse.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Hi. Sorry I was gone so long. Did I hear you talking to someone?
You'll never believe us when we tell you. Wow, look at the time. People are going to start showing up for the open house any minute now. I can see the front doors open. Wait up, I'll go with you. Hi, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, hi, kids.
Say, Mr. Dillon, have you been in there in the office all this time?
Now, what makes you ask that, Bill?
Oh, so it was you talking over the PA system the whole time.
Fooled you, didn't I?
That was a dirty trick.
Oh, I don't think so. Everything I said was true. This is a good old school building. And it's taken some pretty rough treatment from you kids, at times.
Well, your little act sure worked on me. I'm going to be a lot more careful around here from now on. Me too.
Well, I'm glad my performance paid off. I don't think any of us want to spend all week in a run-down, dirty old building.
I sure don't.
Just stop and think how much it costs to fix up the things that get damaged around here. All the money we spend for paint and repairs could go for new games or playground equipment for you kids.
I'm all for that. Well, I should have known that school buildings can't talk.
Oh, don't be too sure of that.
So the school wasn't haunted after all, or was it? A great film. This film was kind of funny for me. There was a time that I was doing a screening at Other Cinema, which is ATA in the Mission in San Francisco, and I did a whole thing about schools, and I pulled this film to show. But unfortunately, I didn't actually watch the film when I built it up on a reel. And Centron is known for having orange metal cans that the films were in. And so I accidentally pulled another orange metal can, which had how to use a pocket calculator, which is amazingly boring. And so I'll introduce this film about taking care of your school. It starts running, and it's a pocket calculator film. I'm horribly embarrassed. But people loved it. They absolutely loved how numbing it was and kind of wonderful it was. So from now on, I always check the film to make sure it is the correct film when I build it up on a reel. Anyhow, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support and your comments and you Googling, finding out some of these little tidbits of information about Chromolux. Who knew Chromolux was actually originated in Pittsburgh? It makes sense that Monroeville benefited from it, being a suburb or nearby town, city of Pittsburgh. If you like what you saw, please like on YouTube, Facebook. Those will get me into heaven. If you like to see me caffeinated, and there's a tipping point. I get too caffeinated, then it's a problem. But, I'll try to regulate. You can buy coffee here. Patreon is a place you can donate money as well. It's like a tip jar subscription service. avgeeks.com. That's where most of these end up, these streaming events. Thanks so much. We will see you again tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And have a good rest of the day. Take care, everybody.